Hello, let's discuss Issues in Translation Studies by Emelin Kalingas.
Breslin in 1970 and Guillemin in 1995 have noted that some of the problem encountered when translating study instruments from the source language into the target language are a result of, first, having bilingual people translating from the source language to the target language and retaining many of the grammatical forms of the source. Back translation is then comparatively easy, but the syntax used may make the translation incomprehensible for the monolingual target audience because the grammar is that of the source, not the target. Second, differences in words, idioms, and colloquialisms that are generally understood in English but in another language do not make sense. Third, translators being unfamiliar with a research area. Problems such as this have been a potential cause of data contamination in many cross-cultural research studies. Comparable measures are needed to ensure that the level of data contamination is minimized and the reliability and validity of data collected is maximized. The aim of translation should be to achieve equivalence. Guidelines for translating existing instruments using one-way translation, translation by committee, or back translation have been previously developed but are rarely used. According to Campbell et al. In 1970, Small, Yelland, and Lumley 1999, Guillemin in 1995, and Breslin in 1970, the key translation methods that should be considered to maximize equivalence while minimizing translation errors and resultant data contamination when researching culturally and linguistically diverse. These groups are: first, one-way translations. Bilingual person translates the original version into the target language.
One-way translation are the most frequently used method in public health cross-cultural studies because of their simplicity, efficiency, and of cost. This method translation relies on the translator and often results in low levels of validity and reliability of the study instrument. Sperber and De Vellelis 1994. Irkute A. 1999.
Second, back translations. This should be undertaken by qualified or accredited translators.
In back translation, one bilingual person translates from the source to the target language, and another blindly translates back to the source.
Third, bilingual techniques. Bilingual persons takes a test in both known languages. Items yielding discrepant responses can be easily identified, according to Prince and Mumber in 1967. Fourth, committee approach. This group of bilingual people translates from the source to the target language. The mistakes of one member can be caught by others on the committee. Fifth, pretest procedures. After a translation is completed, it is field tested to ensure that future subjects will comprehend questions. There are two methods. A. The random probe techniques by Schumann in 1996. It involves an interviewer selecting a random sample of items from a questionnaire and asking probing questions about each item. B. Rating of questions involve interviewers asking how clear the question was to people. In effect, how adequate the translation was, by Mitchell in 1966.